Hello. Got this little guy who landed on my homework, came over to do a lesson, and there he was. Look at that. Oh, that's not going to work. Let's move that. There, that looks pretty good. Okay, look at this guy, little Geico guy. Look at it. Look. Oh, he's smiling. Okay, anyway, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Adding and subtracting. Let me just move him out of the way. Apparently he wants to be a movie star like the Geico commercial guy. See if I can get his arms to move. Okay, I'm having way too much fun. Okay, move the little guy aside. Here we go. He's going to keep his little head though in here, I think. He's just kind of like that. Okay, so here we go. We are going to add and subtract radical expressions. Now you think, well, we've done this. Yes, we have. But let's just look, let's kick it up a notch where we might have to do something different. So, root 3 minus 2 root 48. Not like radicals. However, this radical can be simplified. If I think about 48, 48 is divisible by 16. 16 times 3. So this is really like root 16. Let me look and see. Can you see the pink? Not that well. I'm going to switch it over to red. I was hoping I could mix up the colors a little bit. Okay, so this splits up as root 16 and root 3. 16 times 3 is 48. Now we still have a coefficient of 2 out here. Okay, now that's a multiplier. Notice it's 2 root 48. That indicates times because you don't see a plus or a minus in between the 2 and the radical. So that indicates times. So 48 is split up as 16 times 3. Now we know the square root of 16 is 4. So I essentially have 2 times 4 and then the root 3. So 2 times 4 is 8 root 3. Now let me go back here. I didn't do anything with the root 3 because I knew that could not be simplified. So I have root 3 minus 8 root 3. Well, keep in mind that's like 1 root 3 minus 8 root 3. So altogether, that's going to be 1 minus 8. Remember, you work with the coefficients, 1 minus 8, and you get negative 7 root 3. And that is your simplified answer. Okay, because root 3 cannot be simplified further. Okay, let's just do a few more of these. I think you understand then kind of how this goes. Let's try green. Okay, now here I have like radicals. So I have 5 plus 3, so that's 8 root 40. But the square root of 40 can be simplified. Now 40 splits up as 4 times 10. I know that 4 is a perfect square factor of 40, and there is no larger one. So I have the square root of 4 is 2. So I have 8 times 2 root 10. 8 times 2 is 16. So I have 16 root 10. Okay, now you could have simplified back here first. You would have ended up with the same answer. 16 root 10. Okay, the next one. 160 root 160 minus 7 root 10. Okay, well, let's just check this one out. So, now, I'm kind of doing these in my head because I've worked with them for so long, but let's just think about what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm figuring out what square factor of 100, or what factor of 160 is a perfect square. So if I think of, I'll approach it this way. If I think of the rainbow factors, I have 1 and 160. I have 2 and 80. 3 is not divisible by 3. 4 and 40. Okay, 4 is a perfect square. 5 and something. Let's just look and see. 160 divided by 5 on 160 divided by 5. Okay, that's 32. So 5 and 32. I gotta make room for more now. Is 160 divisible by 6? Let's just check and see. It is not. 160 is not divisible by 7. Is it divisible by 8? Yes, it is. 160 divided by 8, of course, is 20. So we have 8 and 20. It's not divisible by 9. It is divisible by 10. So I have 10 and 16. Okay, right there. 16 is a perfect square factor. Now, if I look at my factors of 160, starting with the biggest, I have 160, I have 80. Neither of those are perfect squares. I have 40 not a perfect square. 32, not a perfect square. And then I had to allow myself more room. 20, not a perfect square, but 16 is a perfect square. So I'm going to split this up as the square root of 16 and the square root of 10 minus 7 root 10. Okay, the square root of 16 is 4. So I have 4 root 10 minus 7 root 10. And now I do have like radicals. So 4 minus 7 is negative 3. So the answer is negative 3 root 10. Okay? Now let me give you a hint. A lot of these are set up so that they are like radicals. So there was a good chance that 160 divided by 10, because that's the radical over here, would yield a perfect square, and in fact it does. 160 divided by 10 is 16, which is a perfect square. Okay, now keeping that in mind, I'm going to try that same thing on this next one. I'm going to guess that 147 divided by 3 is a perfect square. Let's check it out. 147 divided by 3, it is 49. So I have negative root 3 minus 10. Now I'm going to split up 147 as 49 and 3. Because 49 times 3, let's check that out again. Make sure I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, 49 times 3 is 147. Okay, now the square root of 49 is 7. So I have 10 times 7 times root 3. Technically, that's all being multiplied together. So I have negative root 3 minus this. Negative root 3 minus 10 times 7 is 70 root 3. Now I have negative 1 root 3 minus 70 root 3. Well, that's going to be a negative 71 root 3. And that will be my final answer. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be simplifying the radical to get like radicals, hopefully, and then you're going to just figure it out. I think most of these simplify. Maybe you're going to wonder, I went through several of them. You might run across one where it does not simplify. For example, let's just suppose, let me move this so you can see it. Let's just suppose you end up with something like 5 root 2 minus 10 root 3. Okay, if you end up with something that's not like radicals, you can't do anything further, and so that would be your final answer. I don't think they give you any like this in this problem set, but just to make you aware of that, if that comes up, that would be your final answer. Can't be simplified. Okay, so gosh, I don't know, let's see. How about 20 of these? I bet you guys can do 20 of these in less than 30 minutes or around 30 minutes. Okay, but there again, accuracy is more important than speed. So give it a go. And our little Monday Geico guy is happy that you're doing these. And I tell you what, it's sunny out, it's May, happy May, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, goodbye everybody.